attract opportunities, money, and success almost effortlessly? What if the reason has nothing to do with intelligence, luck, or even hard work, but instead something quietly sitting inside your own bedroom? Right now, in the place where you sleep every night, there could be something silently blocking financial opportunities from reaching your life. Most people never notice it. In fact, many unknowingly place it there themselves. Today you will discover a surprising principle about wealth and environment that could completely change the way you look at your personal space forever. For thousands of years, certain families and scholars studied the connection between physical environments and prosperity. Their teaching suggested that wealth does not appear randomly; instead, it flows according to patterns and conditions that influence human life. One of the most important ideas they shared is that the spaces where we spend the most time, especially our bedrooms, carry powerful emotional and psychological energy. These environments shape our thinking, our decisions, and even the opportunities we recognize. When the environment is balanced and supportive, opportunities seem easier to notice and act upon. But when the environment sends negative signals, even the best chances can pass by unnoticed. Your bedroom is more than just a place to rest. It is the one space where your mind resets every night and prepares for the next day. While you sleep, your brain processes experiences, organizes ideas, and generates solutions to problems. Because of this, the condition of your bedroom can influence how clearly you think, how motivated you feel, and how prepared you are to take advantage of opportunities. Many successful individuals are extremely intentional about the spaces where they sleep and think. They understand that a calm, organized, and functional environment helps the mind stay focused and open to new possibilities. Years ago, a mentor once explained a powerful concept about personal environments. He said that every object in a room tells a story to the mind. A clean and functional space sends a message of order and control, while a cluttered or damaged space constantly reminds the brain of unfinished tasks and problems. Even when we are not consciously thinking about it, our brains register these signals. Over time, these small signals influence how confident we feel, how we approach challenges, and how willing we are to pursue opportunities that could improve our financial situation. At one point early in my career, I experienced this lesson personally. I was working hard, trying different strategies, reading books about finance and productivity, yet nothing seemed to move forward. My business struggled and every month felt like a constant battle just to keep things going. Then one evening I took a closer look at the environment where I spent most of my time thinking and resting, my bedroom. What I noticed surprised me. There were several items around the room that were damaged, unused, or simply not functioning properly. There was an old clock that no longer worked but still sat on the shelf. A lamp flickered whenever it was turned on. A drawer in my nightstand barely closed. A cracked picture frame leaned against the wall waiting to be replaced someday. None of these things seemed important individually, but together they created a space filled with small reminders of neglect and incompletion. Without realizing it, I had surrounded myself with objects that symbolized problems instead of progress. This idea may sound simple, but psychology supports it strongly. When we constantly see broken or unfinished things around us, the brain begins associating our environment with disorder. That subtle feeling of disorder can affect motivation and confidence. Instead of feeling capable and in control, we begin to feel slightly overwhelmed without understanding why. Over time, this mental state can reduce our willingness to pursue opportunities, negotiate better deals, or take risks that could improve our financial future. On the other hand, environments filled with functional, organized, and well-maintained objects communicate a very different message to the brain. They reinforce the feeling that things are working, that progress is happening, and that problems can be solved. This mental shift may seem small, but it changes how we behave. People in supportive environments tend to think more clearly, make faster decisions, and feel more confident about taking action. These small changes often lead to better financial outcomes over time. One of the biggest misconceptions about wealth is that it only depends on income or investment strategies. While those things matter, they are only part of the equation. Mindset and environment play a huge role in how we approach money. If someone constantly feels stressed or mentally cluttered, even good financial advice becomes difficult to follow. But when a person feels calm, focused, and in control of their surroundings, they are much more capable of applying smart financial strategies effectively. Think about how you feel when you walk into a messy room filled with broken or unused items. The atmosphere immediately feels heavy and distracting. Now imagine walking into a space that is clean, organized, and functional. The difference in mental clarity is immediate. Your thoughts feel calmer and your attention becomes sharper. This shift in mental energy can influence everything from daily productivity to long-term financial decision-making. After recognizing this pattern, I decided to experiment with a simple change. I went through my bedroom and carefully examined every object. Anything that was broken, damaged, or no longer serving a purpose was removed. Old electronics, cracked frames, dead batteries, malfunctioning lamps, everything that symbolized neglect or unfinished tasks was either repaired, replaced, or discarded. The goal was not perfection but functionality and order. The change in atmosphere was noticeable almost immediately. The room felt lighter, calmer, and more intentional. Instead of seeing reminders of problems every time I entered the space, I saw an environment that supported focus and clarity. That shift affected how I approached my work each day. I began thinking more creatively about solutions, communicating more confidently with clients, and noticing opportunities that I might have overlooked before. Within a short period of time, small improvements began appearing in unexpected ways. Conversations led to new partnerships, ideas developed into practical projects, and progress slowly replaced the frustration I had felt before. While cleaning a bedroom does not magically create wealth, it does remove psychological barriers that quietly interfere with success. When the mind operates in a supportive environment, it becomes far more capable of recognizing and acting on opportunities. One powerful practice that can help reinforce this change is setting a clear intention while reorganizing your space. Instead of rushing through the process, take a moment to think about what you want your environment to represent. For example, you might say to yourself that this space represents clarity, focus, and progress. By connecting physical action with intentional thinking, the brain forms a stronger association between the environment and the mindset you want to develop. Another helpful step is introducing a few simple elements that symbolize freshness and renewal. A glass of clean water placed near the bed, a small plant, or natural light during the morning can remind the mind of movement and growth. These subtle signals reinforce the feeling that life is flowing forward rather than remaining stuck in old patterns. Small environmental cues like these can influence mood and motivation more than most people realize. It is also important to maintain the space consistently. Many people clean once and then slowly allow clutter and broken items to return. Over time, the same negative signals begin creeping back into the environment. Protecting the clarity of your space means regularly checking that everything in the room still works and still serves a purpose. When an item stops functioning, either repair it quickly or remove it. There is another detail many people overlook: mirrors facing the bed. While mirrors themselves are not harmful, constantly seeing reflections during rest can sometimes disrupt sleep and mental calmness. If a mirror directly faces the bed, it may be helpful to reposition it or cover it at night. Quality sleep plays a critical role in financial success because it directly affects decision-making, emotional stability, and creativity the next day. Ultimately, improving your financial life rarely comes from one dramatic change. Instead, it grows from many small adjustments that strengthen clarity, discipline, and confidence. The condition of your personal environment is one of those small adjustments that can quietly influence everything else. By creating a space that reflects order, wholeness, and purpose, you support the mindset required to recognize opportunities and build lasting success. Tonight or tomorrow morning, take a few minutes to walk through your bedroom with fresh eyes. Look carefully at every object around you and ask a simple question: does this item represent progress or stagnation? If it represents neglect, damage, or unfinished tasks, consider repairing it or letting it go. You may be surprised how powerful such a small action can feel. When your environment reflects clarity and wholeness, your mind begins operating in the same way. And when your mind becomes clearer and more focused, opportunities that once seemed invisible start appearing in unexpected places. Success often begins with the smallest shifts, sometimes even with the simple decision to remove what no longer belongs in the space where you rest, think, and prepare for the future.